Hello, this is KiwaniTalk. My name's Ray Scaboria. I'll be your host for this evening's program. KiwaniTalk is a public information program brought to you from the facilities of WDHS at Dearborn High School. We're back at Dearborn High School because the school is open now. we were at Gary Gardner's office for the summer, but we're back here at Dearborn High. Today our guest is Jeff Drahuse. And Jeff is, first we're going to talk a little bit about Jeff's background, and then I'm going to let Jeff introduce you to what he found he was facing, I believe it was around 2008. But give us a little background on where you grew up in school and that sort of thing.
Well, I grew up in Farmington Hills, graduated from Farmington High School in 1986, where I attended Henry Ford Community College to become a machinist. So I did an apprenticeship through the Henry Ford Community College. Okay.
Now after you finished there, did you have a period of time when you were working as a machinist?
Oh, immediately. I worked for the family business. So I was actually in the shop as I was going to school.
Oh, I see. Okay. Now, so your family had a machining business, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And I know machining started where you had to run the machine, but nowadays you program the machine a lot.
That's correct. It's more of the click of a mouse nowadays, but we've adjusted for times.
But it's not. You have to be careful. If you don't program it right, the part doesn't come out right, does it?
That's correct. Measure twice, cut once.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, now let us get into the heart of the matter here, which is very serious business. But what was it that you found you were facing in around 2008?
A 4 millimeter by 11 millimeter glioblastoma tumor just on the front of my forehead.
Oh my goodness. And where were you actually located at the time? What hospital facility did you?
I was living in Naples, Florida.
Okay. So
my surgery was down south naturally at a facility called RNC.
Okay. Yeah. With me, I can't remember any of that kind of stuff. So
yeah, things like that I do.
If you can't remember the exact name, it doesn't matter. Nobody else is going to remember it either.
I hope so. Yeah. There's no fact checking.
Honestly, so you had an operation to remove the tumor, or as much as they can remove?
Yes, and that was accompanied by chemotherapy treatments and radiation treatments for the following 3 months after the surgery.
And that's kind of after a surgery like that, there's quite a recuperation, isn't there? I mean, it's not like you don't. It takes a while to heal up where you feel.
I was not quite prepared for it, but as the learning curve kicked in, and I stayed focused at what I needed to do and goals I needed to meet daily, weekly, and monthly, things got easier.
Yeah. So that operation was in 2008?
Yes.
Yeah, in 2008. Okay. So were you able to get back to work after a while?
Well, it took about 5 months of recovery.
Yeah.
And then I was able to go back to work, but unfortunately, it was in the middle of the banking crisis, so the first day I went back to work, I was laid off.
Oh boy, gosh. Oh boy, isn't that frustrating?
Yeah, it was another hurdle I had to jump, but after what I had been through, it was, on the scale of things, it was minor.
Yeah. Well, I know that Jeff, we've talked before, but I don't have a whole lot of your background, and just just the fact that you had an operation on a glioblastoma tumor in 2008 makes you really exceptional, because very few people have survived glioblastoma as long as you have. But go on again, give us a little synopsis of what occurred in the next, say, 8 or 10 years in your own terms.
Well, I feel I handled the situation properly, and I was able to, I don't want to say retrain myself, but I really did retrain myself as far as priority, structure, and so forth. And I had an excellent support team. My parents really supported me, along with the doctors, surgeons, neurologists, and oncologists. So I didn't go in this alone.
Yeah. You know, you think brain surgery, well, you know, the brain surgeons, you know, how they face that, how they manage their own mental health is you know, they have to divorce themselves from emotional relationships with any of the patients, even though they may like the patient, you know.
Oh, that's true. That holds true.
Because it's, you know, that's, I'm sure, I think you had a good brain surgeon.
I had excellent brain surgeons. Yeah. And also, like I said, my support system played a big role in this, friends and family. But after the surgeons were done, it was up to me to take charge of my recovery. So adapting a good attitude was the biggest hurdle I had to go through. And I had to believe in myself, which was exceptionally hard, because after somebody rewires your brain, I had to do a lot of retraining of how to think, the do's and do nots, and things like that.
Yeah. So your tumor was let's see.
The front lobe of my left eye.
Okay. Did it affect you in any way physically? Did you have any you know, weakness in?
My sight has never been the same since the first surgery. But I feel I have all my confidence back, which has played a big role in my attitude.
Yeah. Well, let's go on and give, you know, were you able to get back to work? I know that, I can imagine that going back to work is an issue, because there, with the kind of work that machining is, getting back to work it's hard to find an employer that's going to give you a job and going to let you stick with it, you know?
I was able to get back into the trade and successfully reach the plateau where I believe I left off. So, I kept excellent notes, I believe.
Yeah. Now, where did you work then?
I was working in for a company in Naples, Florida called March Precision.
Okay.
And my employers really worked with me too.
Well, you have to give them some credit too, I think, don't you?
Oh, without question, there's no doubt about it. They helped me along and with my insurance issues and so forth, and supported me mentally.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
So I had something to look forward to when it was my timing was right to eventually get back to work.
Yeah,
and which I enjoyed doing, and both my oncologist and neurologist wanted me to challenge my mind. Okay. So I was able to do that.
Okay. It's amazing, because it sounds like you're actually able to retrain areas of your brain to cover areas that maybe became deficient a little bit.
I think you're right, and I just had to take a different route to get the net result.
Yeah. Well, let's go on now, because that's 2008 and the period after that. But explain what happened, say, in the next 8 or 10 years. What evolved eventually?
Well, I was suffering from the same type of symptoms from when I had my first tumor removed, so I went into Beaumont hospitals where they discovered another tumor that was also a glioblastoma.
Oh boy.
And the survival rate was only 2% for the first surgery. So the second time, I really didn't have a whole lot. I couldn't digest it, or I was able to get a plan together, but somehow I used the protocols that I had from the surgery number 1 and applied them to my second surgery. And here I am speaking to you.
Yeah. Well, what I've read is that the survival rate of glioblastoma on the average is somewhere well under 18 months.
It is.
And you've survived it, what, 10?
Well, 24 years and about 3 months, and then my second surgery will be coming up on 3 years ago in the 1st of December.
And I actually didn't meet you until you were recovering from that.
Yes,
yeah.
That's correct. The following summer.
Yeah. Yeah. And after you, during the recovery process, I had a little project at my house, and you came out and helped me put 3 more downspouts on the back of my house.
Yeah,
and,
that's sort of to be a challenge for the afternoon.
I really didn't want to do that myself, and you did a very nice job.
I was able to conquer my fear of ladders for the afternoon.
Oh, God.
I enjoyed that project.
Well, my house is a ranch, and it's about 80 feet long, and 3 downspouts aren't enough. You need extra downspouts to get the water off when it's raining real hard. Otherwise,
I agree with you.
Otherwise, it overflows the gutter and comes down right next to the house.
Yeah, that's probably exactly. I don't think your wife would appreciate that either.
No. Well, actually, we had a few years ago. I don't know how many. Quite a few years ago, we had an exceptional rainstorm, and there was supposed to be 7 inches of rain in an hour or 2, and we got a little bit of water in our basement. I was able to vacuum up with a wet dry vacuum. I was able to vacuum up 1.5 gallons of water. That's all.
Oh, wow.
And then I put the fans on and dried it out, but I said, I don't want water in here again. So
yeah, better put some more downspouts.
That's why the downspouts were added. But I thank you for assisting me in that area.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah. So anyway, that operation was successful, I assume, because you're still with us.
I am, and knock on wood, I still feel pretty healthy. My goals I've maintained my goals, and I have not let this these surgeries give me an excuse to give up.
Well, you have to be complimented for that, because it's a difficult thing to keep your morale up and avoid getting depressed, where you can't control your own emotions.
That's proven to be quite challenging. It's a day-to-day fight, and it's something I document. And if I feel there's a problem, I bring my support. I try to call my support team in to help out as needed.
Yeah, you should write a book. I'm not kidding. You should write a book. I'm serious, because
the ups and downs have been incredible.
Yeah, there's a lot to be learned from this. Well, we're talking with Jeff Drahuse, one of the longest known survivors of glioblastoma. I looked in the records and said there was a woman that had survived 20 years, but you got that beat. And and we're going to talk with Jeff a little bit more after the break. Watch the break, a little commercial about Kiwanis.
There must be a lot of love out there in the world, at least if you think of all the things people say they love. But it's funny. Sometimes the things we love the most are the ones we don't talk about often enough. I mean, the things that bring true change to a child's life, to a community, to the people who come together and make change happen. Think about what you love about your club. Think about the children it reaches. Think about the pride it gives you. And think about this. Thousands of Kiwanians around the world love being members of their clubs too. So think about what could happen if we all shared our Kiwanis stories. After all, there's a million things to love in the world, but there's nothing like a love that makes the world better. So show it, share it, let the world know.
Hello, this is KiwaniTalk. I'm here with Jeff Drahuse, who, according to what I've read, is one of the longest survivors of glioblastoma. And Jeff, we were talking at the break a little bit about some of the things that you had to relearn after your first operation, I assume, and kind of describe what they were, so people can understand what you had to really learn how to do again, you know?
A lot of it I had to learn hand-eye coordination, as far as if I wanted to get back on the golf course or swing a tennis racket. But first and foremost, I had to reteach myself how to walk and talk, bathe myself, complete small tasks, things of that nature. It was baby steps at the beginning, and I just challenged myself each and every day as to the degree I could handle it.
It's not obvious at all that you have ever had disabilities like that, and you've managed very well to retrain yourself so that it's not noticeable to anyone else that you have been through this.
Yeah, it was a lot of determination, and I had to keep my spirits up, and that was challenging some days. Some days were better than others. Some days I just didn't want to get out of bed, but I made myself, and I had protocols for things of that nature. If I was starting to feel down and in the dumps, I would exercise or pick up a book. I made myself do these things so I wouldn't get lazy and complacent.
Well, you know, I give you a lot of credit for establishing sort of a protocol to handle the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not something, I'm sure people would try and help you, but you needed to basically do most of it yourself.
It was, well, my mom always said this, God helps those who help themselves.
Sure.
So I applied that.
Yeah. Now I know fairly recently you had you were working at a machining job, but I haven't heard you discuss that lately. I don't know what the situation was there.
I was, and things just got slow in the manufacturing sector, and I'm looking to get back into it when the right opportunity comes along. I'm definitely prepared and ready.
Okay.
And hopefully it's going to happen sooner than later.
Yeah. Well,
but it's up to me to make these opportunities, and I know that.
Yeah. Well, I hope that opportunity shows up soon. I really do. You know?
It's around the corner. I feel it.
Yeah. So as far as your condition, you don't have any symptoms at the moment that are worrying?
No, I seem to be cancer-free for the time being, and we're just going to monitor that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I mean, when you read up, I'm sure you've read up on glioblastoma yourself, but they say it's really never cured. It's really what they say.
And that's correct.
And you're by far the exception, because very few people survive as long as a couple of years. That's
I feel I'm lucky in every aspect of life. Even though I was faced with this dilemma, I've still lived a great life, and I have no regret. And I look forward to my next chapters in my life,
yeah,
even with or without this disease.
yeah. Well, you have a great attitude, a super attitude, and if there's some way we could help people try and have an attitude that, I mean, it wouldn't matter what the disease was. There's lots of diseases that
Oh yeah, that'll
but
try to knock
this
you down.
happens to be one of the worst ones, you know, and
I really got lucky, and I lucked out with my medical teams both times, and I had the support of my family and friends, so that played a vital role in my recovery also. It was a lot of people, my employers, and people like yourself who just walked into my life.
yeah, yeah, and you know, I'm glad we had this this little talk show opportunity, because I asked you not knowing if you'd be interested, and you indicated you'd be very interested in doing it, and I'm glad that I know more about you, and I have to say I congratulate you on your attitude and what a difficult situation you've handled, and
Thank
you've done
you.
it. You've been through it twice. I mean, come on, that's a big deal, you know. After the second operation, did you have some of the same procedures to go through?
Yes, yes. I think the second time was harder than the first time.
Yeah.
It was during COVID, so that kept people out of my room for. I was in the hospital from Halloween until July 4th.
Oh my goodness.
With no visitors or contact with other people other than my RNs and doctors who were following up with me.
Yeah. So the operation was close to the beginning of that, and you were recuperating in the period after that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's a long time in the hospital. Goodness.
I'm still recuperating.
Yeah. So in the hospital, you went through some of that retraining procedure that you had to go through after
Oh
the
yes,
first
physical
operation.
therapy, and I made sure to exercise my mind.
Yeah. What kind of exercises did you use? Did it involve
Reading.
Reading. Okay.
Reading.
I bet you the reading made no sense initially.
No, not really. I had a dictionary by my side at all times. The words that I forgot.
Had to look up about every fourth word.
Yeah, yeah, it happened. Certain nights chapters could last, a half hour long, and then other days they'd go by in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's something. That's something.
But I took the good with the bad, knowing the outcome could be good or bad. I had to accept it no matter what.
Yeah. Well, eventually you must have gotten through a few books, because you were in there from what did you say it was? December? No.
December of 2021, and I was released in July of 2022.
That's 7 months about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a little more than 7 months. Yeah. Boy, oh boy. Do you have any new goals now, after you've survived these two operations this long, and you're in pretty good shape now? Do you have any goals that are sort of in the back of your mind?
I still feel I could work another quality 15 to 20 years. I enjoy what I do, so I'm looking forward to that, the challenges and things like that. I really relish the.
Yeah, I know you were, while you were working at this machining job before, you showed me I guess it looked like it was a mounting plate for a complicated something or other, some kind of a tooling thing, and it was a pretty involved part to machine.
Yeah, I just try to make the part look like the picture.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. within dimensions.
But I can't remember, but it didn't look light. It looked like a heavyweight piece of machining, you know, a machined part. Do you recall how big it was?
Not offhand. I wish I had my notes for it, but
you showed me pictures of it. I think you showed me.
I think it went out. It was the length was 2 feet by 4 feet.
Yeah, so we're talking about something that weighs 50, 60, 70 pounds.
The
probably.
machine did most of the work. I just programmed it.
Well, you had to program it right. You know?
Yeah, I did, definitely. And once again, measure twice, cut once.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Jeff Drahuse, I am, again, I have to compliment you on the way you've handled a real difficult medical situation. And I know you've had all kinds of assistance, and I would say the excellent medical care.
Yes, I definitely tip my hat to the staff at Beaumont. Everyone from the RNs, the people who brought my meals daily, to the people who cleaned my room.
Yeah. And for a long period of time, they were your only visitors.
The whole time.
The whole time.
I made friends with everyone.
Okay. Well, Jeff, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Very much for coming
Appreciate
in
it.
and giving us this story. It's actually, to me, it's a remarkable story, and I want to congratulate you again on the way you handled the whole thing, because that you'd be positive as you were to go through the relearning process each time you were faced with that issue, you know?
You know, that's the way I was brought up, so I just applied what I learned from how my parents raised me, and I used it, and here I am, and I believe I have a good attitude, and I look forward to not only working another 15 or 20 years, but retiring.
Okay. Thank you for joining us on KiwaniTalk. Thank you, Jeff, for being our guest today. Join us on KiwaniTalk again soon.